The monthly family brunch was my mother's tradition, started 15 years ago when my youngest brother graduated from college. On the first Sunday of every month, everyone gathered at the country club, dressed nicely, performing the ritual of being a successful, loving family. I'd stopped attending regularly 3 years ago after I sold my cybersecurity company to Microsoft for $90 million. At first, I'd been too busy with the transition, then too busy building my next venture, and finally just too tired of performing for people who'd spent my entire childhood telling me I'd never amount to anything. But my grandmother had asked me to come this month. She was turning 90 and she wanted her whole family there. I couldn't say no to her. She was the only person in my family who believed in me, who had helped me pay for college when my parents said computer science was a waste of time for a girl. So I showed up in jeans and a nice sweater, driving the Honda I'd owned for 8 years because I didn't see the point in expensive cars. My mother was already holding court at the large table when I arrived, surrounded by my 3 siblings and their families, plus various aunts, uncles, and cousins. "Oh look, the millionaire has arrived," my brother Kevin announced as I approached. "Did you drive here in your fancy car, or did you take an Uber because you're too important to drive yourself?" "I drove," I said quietly, taking the only empty seat, which was, predictably, at the far end of the table, away from my grandmother. My sister Melissa laughed. "Let me guess. You still have that ancient Honda. I saw it in the parking lot. Very impressive for someone who supposedly sold a company for millions." "I like my car," I said. "You're an embarrassment," my mother said, not even pretending to lower her voice. "Your sister drives a Mercedes. Kevin has a Range Rover. Even your baby brother has a BMW. And you show up here looking like you shop at thrift stores." "I'm comfortable," I said. "You're comfortable being the disappointment," she corrected. "We tell people you're successful, and then you show up looking like this. How are we supposed to be proud of you?" I'd heard variations of this my entire life. When I was in college studying computer science, they said I'd never get a job. When I got a job at a tech startup, they said I was wasting my potential. When I started my own company, they said I'd fail within a year. When my company succeeded, they said I got lucky. When I sold it for $90 million, they said the buyers were idiots and it wasn't really worth that much. Nothing I did would ever be enough because I didn't perform success the way they wanted me to. I didn't buy luxury cars or designer clothes. I didn't post on social media about my achievements. I just worked, saved money, invested carefully, and tried to build things that mattered. My grandmother caught my eye from across the table and smiled sadly. She knew. She'd always known. Brunch proceeded with the usual performances, Kevin bragging about his sales numbers at his father-in-law's real estate firm, Melissa talking about her husband's promotion at his law firm, and my younger brother Daniel showing off photos from his vacation to Bali, funded entirely by our parents. "What have you been up to?" my Aunt Linda asked me politely. Before I could answer, my mother interrupted. "She sits in her apartment writing code. Very glamorous, very impressive." "I'm developing a new platform for small business cybersecurity," I said. "It's going well." "Still playing with computers," Kevin said. "Some things never change." My mother stood up then, holding her mimosa. She'd had at least 3 already. Her face had that flushed look that meant she was moving from tipsy into mean drunk. "Watch this," she said loudly, drawing everyone's attention. "This is how we treat people who embarrass the family." She walked over to where I sat and poured her entire mimosa over my head. The orange juice and champagne were cold and sticky, running down my face, soaking into my sweater and hair. The table went completely silent for about 3 seconds. Then Kevin started laughing. He pulled out his phone and started recording. "This is gold. This is absolutely gold." Melissa had her phone out too, filming from another angle. Daniel was recording on his phone, grinning. My cousins had their phones up. Half the table was filming me sitting there, juice dripping from my hair. "That's how we treat trash," my mother said clearly, making sure everyone could hear. "People who don't respect themselves or their family." I stood up slowly, juice dripping onto the floor. I looked at my grandmother, who had tears in her eyes but said nothing. She was 90 years old and had stopped trying to control her daughter's behavior decades ago. I picked up my purse, pulled out my wallet, and left $60 on the table for my portion of brunch. Then I walked out of the country club without saying a word. In my car, I sat for a moment, sticky, humiliated, and cried. Not because my mother had poured a drink on me. I'd survived worse from her. But because I believed, somehow, that maybe this time would be different. That maybe success on my own terms would finally be enough. I drove home, showered, put on clean clothes, and tried to forget about it. The video showed up on social media 6 hours later. Kevin had posted it on Facebook with the caption, "When your sister thinks she's too good for the family, Mom showing her what's what. Needed to be done." Melissa shared it with family dynamics. Sometimes people need to be put in their place. Daniel posted it on Instagram with laughing emojis. It had a few dozen likes and comments from family friends, most of them laughing or making jokes about me deserving it for acting superior. I blocked all of them and tried to move on. Then it happened. Someone, I never found out who, shared the video beyond my family's social circle. It got picked up by one of those accounts that reposts drama videos. Then another, then another. Within 48 hours, the video had 3 million views. But it wasn't going the way my family had expected. The comments weren't laughing at me, they were horrified by my family. "This is abuse. This woman just assaulted her daughter on camera and everyone filmed it. The fact that they're all recording and laughing is psychotic. Imagine being so cruel to your own child." Then someone recognized me. "Wait, isn't that Sarah Mitchell? The woman who founded CyberShield? She's on Forbes 30 Under 30. She sold her company for $90 million. OMG, yes, that's definitely her. She was just on TechCrunch talking about her new venture. These people just assaulted a tech entrepreneur and posted it online thinking it was funny." The narrative shifted instantly. News outlets picked it up. Tech blogs wrote articles. "Tech entrepreneur abused by family at brunch. Video goes viral" was trending on Twitter. "Family pours drink on Forbes featured CEO," made it to the front page of Reddit. My phone started ringing, PR firms offering to help manage the situation, journalists requesting interviews, other tech founders reaching out with support and sharing their own family dysfunction stories. I ignored most of it, but I did issue one statement through my company's PR team. "I appreciate the concern. This is a private family matter. I'm focusing on my work and moving forward." The public backlash against my family was immediate and severe. Kevin's real estate firm started getting negative reviews. "Would you trust someone who films his mother abusing his sister?" Clients began calling his office, asking if he was the person in the video. His father-in-law, who owned the firm, called him into a meeting. Kevin was fired 3 days after the video went viral. His father-in-law released a statement. "We do not employ individuals whose personal conduct reflects poorly on our firm's values." Melissa's husband was a partner at a law firm that prided itself on professional ethics. When the video surfaced showing his wife laughing and filming the assault, the firm's managing partners were not amused. They called him in for a meeting about conduct unbecoming. He wasn't fired, but he was told clearly that his wife needed to delete all social media accounts and issue a public apology. The partnership track he'd been on was quietly suspended. Daniel worked in marketing at a tech startup. A startup where half the employees followed tech news and absolutely recognized me from Forbes, TechCrunch, and various conference talks. They saw their colleague's brother gleefully filming what was essentially an assault. His CEO called him in. "We're a company built on respect and inclusion. We cannot employ someone who participates in and celebrates family abuse, particularly against a woman in tech. We're letting you go." My mother was retired, so she had no job to lose. But she was on the board of 2 local charities. Both boards asked her to step down after the video surfaced. "We cannot have board members whose public conduct contradicts our organizational values." Her country club membership, the place where this had all happened, was suspended pending review. Several longtime friends stopped returning her calls. The rest of my extended family who'd been at that brunch and participated in filming received their own consequences. Aunts and uncles faced questions at work. Cousins dealt with social media backlash. Everyone who'd had their phone out, recording and laughing, was now facing professional and social fallout. They all called me, every single one of them. Kevin called crying, begging me to make a statement saying the video was taken out of context. I didn't answer. Melissa's husband called, asking me to please tell the internet that his wife wasn't usually like this, that it was just a family joke gone wrong. I blocked his number. Daniel sent long text messages explaining how he hadn't meant for this to happen, how he'd just been following everyone else's lead, how sorry he was. I didn't respond. My mother called from a number I didn't recognize. "This is your fault," she said when I answered without thinking. "You need to fix this. Tell people I was joking. Tell them you weren't really hurt." "You poured a drink on my head and called me trash while everyone filmed it," I said quietly. "That's what happened. That's what the video shows." It was just family dynamics. You're too sensitive. You always have been. Now you've ruined everyone's lives because you can't take a joke. I didn't post the video, I said. Kevin did. You all chose to film it, post it, and laugh about it. The internet just showed you what that looks like to people outside our family. You need to fix this. No, I said. I don't. I hung up and blocked that number too. My grandmother called from her landline, the only family member I'd still answer for. I'm sorry, she said. I should have stopped her. I should have said something. You couldn't have stopped her, I said. She's been like this my whole life. You know that. I do know that. That's why I'm calling. I want you to know that I changed my will last month. Everything goes to you. The house, the investments, all of it. About $4 million total. Your mother gets nothing. Your siblings get nothing. Just you. Grandma, you don't have to do that. I do. I've watched them treat you like garbage for 30 years. I've watched you succeed despite them, not because of them. You're the only one who deserves anything from me. They're going to be furious. They're already furious. At least this way, you'll be compensated for a lifetime of their cruelty. The video continued to circulate for weeks. The news cycle moved on, but in tech circles, I became known as that woman whose family poured a drink on her. People in the industry were incredibly supportive. I got speaking invitations, investor meetings, and partnership offers, all from people who'd seen the video and wanted to support me. My new cybersecurity platform launched 2 months after the Brunch incident. We got funding more easily than I expected. Investors specifically mentioned seeing the video and being impressed by how I'd handled the situation with dignity. You didn't fight back, didn't make it a media circus, just focused on your work, one investor said. That's exactly the kind of founder we want to back. The company was valued at $50 million at launch. 6 months later, we closed a Series A at $80 million. I owned 60%. My family's situation did not improve. Kevin's marriage fell apart. His wife left him, taking the kids, citing his failure to protect them from the public backlash. He moved in with my parents. Melissa's husband's partnership was formally withdrawn. He blamed Melissa. Their marriage became strained. Daniel couldn't find another job in tech. The video followed him everywhere. He moved to another city to start over. My mother was effectively ostracized from her social circle. The video had shown everyone who she really was, and they wanted no part of it. A year after the Brunch incident, my grandmother died peacefully in her sleep. The will reading was exactly what she promised. $4 million, split between her house, investments, and savings. All of it to me. My mother contested the will. The lawyer showed the judge the viral video. Your Honor, this video, which has been viewed over 20 million times, shows how the plaintiff treated her daughter. Mrs. Henderson's will specifically states that she's leaving everything to Sarah because Sarah was the only family member who treated her with consistent love and respect. The video supports this reasoning. The contest was dismissed. I sold my grandmother's house and donated a significant portion of the money to organizations supporting women in tech. The rest went into investments and savings. My family stopped contacting me after the will was settled. I heard through distant relatives that they blamed me for everything. For the video going viral, for their lost jobs, for their social ostracism, for the inheritance. They never once acknowledged that they created the video. They'd filmed it, posted it, laughed about it, and called it entertainment. They just never expected the world to see them the way I'd seen them my entire life. 3 years later, I'm running a successful company valued at over $200 million. I've been on multiple Forbes lists. I speak at conferences about cybersecurity and entrepreneurship. I've built a life I'm proud of. And somewhere, my family is dealing with the consequences of thinking that filming abuse was entertainment, and that posting it online would make them look good. They'd wanted to humiliate me. Instead, they'd documented exactly who they were for the entire world to see. Sometimes the best revenge is just stepping out of the way and letting people reveal themselves.